Welcome. It's all good to see you here this morning. My name is Moore Horton. I'm senior minister at this time at Woodland Chapel, and it's a pleasure to be here. You know what? The reading for this morning in Science of Mind mentions welcome the people who come into your life. And I feel like each of you comes into my life and the life of one another. It's such a pleasure to be here and to be aware. Is there anyone here for the very first time? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Over here, couple. Yes, welcome to our chapel. We have a packet of information to give out, and I think Paul is going to do that. Oh, come on, come all. And in that packet of information is something about the nature of our chapel, our beliefs, and our practice. And we just love to have you here and be informed. There's a form in that packet that if you care to leave your contact information, then we can get in touch with you by email and that sort of thing, keep you apprised of what's going on. All right. Well, there's several announcements that we'll want to make this morning. We have hospitality every Sunday after service, so please join us there. Next week will be our monthly potluck, and you're welcome to come to that too. I have an announcement that is heart-moving for me. We want to share that our friend, Patrice Aiello, passed away last Tuesday. It was rather sudden, but we know that she's moving on peacefully into her next life expression. She frequently told us that she was so grateful for the warmth and the way we welcomed her here at Woodland Chapel. Just miss her here this morning very much. So let's take just a moment and remember Patrice. If you do not know her, she was a blessed presence here. My heart opens as I envisioned her walking into the next experience, meeting with old friends, family, and enjoying vibrant health and energy and life in the greater life. And so it is. Thanks for all the good work and loyalty for our group here, for participating in Soup for the Soul. You may have noticed that we have received our automated external defibrillator, AED, and it's in the library for you to look at. We'll figure a good place to post it, but it's all bought and it's all paid for, and we had a little money left over, and the group is deciding whether to give that to the paving effort or some other effort. So we'll start up another fundraiser with that, probably for the paving. As far as the paving goes, right now we stand at a total donations of about $5,212.30. About. So feel free to write an extra check to add to that total. It shows that we are enthusiastic about the possibility of actually having a parking lot that doesn't go like, come in. That'd be wonderful. Okay. Save the date for February 18th. The annual Woodland Chapel business meeting will be held after Soup for the Soul downstairs. And we'll be sure to put your renewal application in the library. There's a box for them. And if you are not a member and would like to be, there's an application for a membership form. There are some requirements for that, but if you fill that out, we'll let you know what they are. And it's pretty simple, really. Just take a class and be here a few times. Our next Soup for the Soul is February 18th, and we will be serving soup and bread, donation of $3, but oftentimes I've seen 10 or 20 or sometimes maybe 100 in that box, so whatever you want to give. Don't forget about our Friday book study group, still going from 2 to 3:30 p.m. in the Chapel Library, The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. It's an engaging book. Childcare is available. Confidential prayer request forms. Do you see them in the pew? I hope there's one in front of you there that you can fill out. Share your desire to have prayer or desire simply to celebrate life, because we do that too. If you are feeling you'd like to volunteer or be of service to our community, contact myself, Reverend Don, Reverend Julie, or one of our practitioners. And the Science of Mind magazine is for sale. Are there any other items that we need to announce this morning? Again, welcome. You are Woodland Chapel, and we serve you and we serve one another in love and joy. I think now we are going to have a congregational song.
Okay, I invite you to stand up, and we're going to do some church here. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Well, I'm feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. In my time of trouble, in my time of trouble, singing, God is so good. In my time of trouble, singing, God is so good. In my time of trouble, singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. In my time of triumph, in my time of triumph, singing, God is so good. In my time of triumph, singing, God is so good. In my time of triumph, singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. When my day is over, when my day is over, singing, God is so good. When my day is over, singing, God is so good. When my day is over, singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Every day and every way. Every day, every way, God is so good. Every day, every way, God is so good. Every day, every way, God is so good. My God is so good to me. What happened this morning? Well, I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good. My God is so good to me. Oh yeah.
Our practitioner, Cheryl Guess, will present an opening treatment.
Good morning. On this glorious day, when we've seen the sun so infrequently lately, that it's so beautiful to know that there is that promise of new growth, new life. Everything that is God is now present, because God is all there is. There is only one Spirit, one universal intelligence that is back of all creation. And I am part of this creation. I am an aspect of God here to present and create all of the aspects of God, which include joy, peace, beauty, life, light, and love. And I know that all of these things are present today in this chapel, that everybody that is here today is by divine urge. Something drew you and pulled you towards this beautiful, beautiful day. And I know that all of the people present, just like I am, have that spiritual being within them. And I invite you to allow it to just open up and free yourself from all your troubles, all of the things that are bothering you right now. Just let them go and know that God is going to fill that space with something good, because God always replaces the bad, or what we perceive to be bad, with that good, that open, and that wonderful love that is ever present. And I am so grateful. My heart is so full of joy, knowing that everything is unfolding just as it should, that my life is presenting to me what I give to it, what I think, what I feel, and what I state. That all appears in my life. And so I just release this, knowing that everything is God. Everything is this love. And I just invite you to join into this love with me as I release it to the law, knowing that everything is just as it should be. If this resonates with you, please join me in saying, "And so it is." I'd like to share with you our affirmation for the day. Right here, right now, I release any resistance or doubt about my worthiness. I know my prayers are signals to the universe. I am ready to receive my good. And so it is. Thank you. Namaste.
Our board secretary, Satya Riversong, will now present a reading from the Science of Mind.
Okay. Good morning. It's a piece of peace. A piece of peace. Catherine Ponder wrote, "What you radiate outwards in your thoughts, feelings, mental pictures, and words, you attract into your life. As Ernest Holmes says, forms come and go, but the power back of them is changeless." Let's take a moment and look across our world at all the things occurring at this time. So many beautiful things unfold, and so many harsh realities simultaneously occur for those with whom we share this sacred earth. As we look at the macro level, we see massive challenges that plague so many of our brothers and sisters. The climate is changing, causing expanding droughts. The destruction of natural resources is increasing, while the sacred lands of the indigenous are being stripped away. Societal class systems continue to widen, and many of the isms, racism, classism, sexism, remain an everyday occurrence for many. When I think about these things, I immediately ask, what can I do? While I wish I could affirmatively pray it away, the reality is that I have no idea what others are experiencing. Thus, prayer at times seems like an intentional avoidance of examining the root cause of these deep issues. What can I do? What can we do? For me, the answer is simple. I can fully embrace responsibility for the role I play in creating the world I see. We can all begin today to live in such a way that we usher in a new way of being. This is not turning our heads away from what is happening, but rather it means being the solution, creating a new cause that brings a new effect. What will you do today to add your piece of peace to our world? Bonus affirmation. I am the solution I seek. I carry peace and power within me and share it with the world each day. Thank you.
There is one piece of joy that I failed to mention during the announcements this morning. Our board president, Michelle G. Mateo, has returned from a month plus in Mexico. Welcome back, Michelle. Ah, yes. I think we're going to sing song now, Blake.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is a song called I Don't Need to Know. It's a song about faith. When things go wrong, it's natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit should I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I may never know when the pain ends, when my heart mends. I just have to go, 'cause God knows. But still I find I am crying out for answers. I'm still seeking control, and still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. At this moment I remember, and it comes so clear to me, that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I may never know when the pain ends, when my heart mends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I let go, because God knows. God knows.
Thank you, Blaine. And wouldn't it just be so good if we could embrace that faith. I mean, think about the relaxation that we could let go of and just know all is well, and all is well because all is well. And I just want to thank Blaine. You know, Blaine has been sharing his music ministry with New Thought churches for at least a couple decades that I know of.
About 20 years.
Yeah, so really appreciate that, and it is a ministry because, and we are all profoundly touched by music, so thank you so much. And okay, you guys, I can't help it. I was thinking, you know, as a minister, I mean, you think in metaphors all the time. Because what is it that we understand but metaphor is so good. And so I can't help it. But this morning, I'm going to drive in here, and it's like 60 degrees. And like they said, that golden ball is in the sky. So, yeah, it is there. It's there. And so, see, the metaphor is, even though there were all those clouds, and it was in the teens, and we were freezing to death, and some people had no power, that behind all that was the sun. You get the metaphor, right? Okay, well, that's not my talk today, but thanks for going along with that. I could not help it. I didn't do it well, but you got it. So anyway, Ernest Holmes and Cheryl talked about this the first Sunday. And for those of you who have taken classes in Foundations of a New Thought, which encompasses not only Centers for Spiritual Living, which is a global ministry. All around the globe we have centers. It also includes Unity and other independent New Thought churches. So we're a quiet movement because we don't actually do evangelism, but we know that when we all end up in the right place where we just need to be. And Cheryl talked about in the first chapter of what we call our textbook that Ernest Holmes wrote, which for those of you who are new to this teaching and maybe here for the first time and are unfamiliar with it, it's not like we have one person that decided to found a church. In fact, he didn't intend to find a church. But this teaching, the science of mind, our text was an accumulation of the best thoughts of philosophers and theologians and science brought together and open at the top so that we keep learning, we keep growing, we keep knowing more. And I love that about our teaching. But in the very first chapter, it's called What It Is. And I love that because the word home used is the thing itself. And that's the first chapter's title, The Thing Itself. And for it as a word for the source, the God, the ineffable, that which created all and is bigger than all of us. And it's a language differently than I was used to. And I was really happy about that because it allowed me to lean into the mystery and to let go of words that conjured up something for me. That meaning of God that I had been taught and heard. My grandparents, I lived with my grandparents, and my grandfather had a radio, and when I was little, we had a small house in Arizona. It wasn't large, so I could hear the radio when I went to bed. And probably none of you guys remember who Herbert W. Armstrong is. Is there somebody? Herbert W. He was a fire and brimstone preacher. Now, my grandparents were LDS. They were Mormons. But they were so open to all teachings. They enjoyed learning about all teachings, and including tuning into Herbert W. Armstrong. I'm not quite sure why, because maybe just because he was loud. But I would lay there and I would hear this fire and brimstone, and it was like rather scary. And so some of my ideas of God were formed in this way. And I know that's true for many of you because I've taught a lot of classes, and we struggle sometimes with this word God, don't we? It's like, so when he called it the thing itself, I loved that because it carried no baggage with it. It carried no baggage with it, and yet it was bigger than what I know. And so I love that, and it was really important. So all of our concepts of God, are human created. They're all human created. I know we say that some of them come to us via God, I don't know, but they're human created. It's our human attempt. It's our human attempt to understand the infinite, and it's good. I'm not recommending Herbert W. Armstrong and whatever followed him. I'm really not, because it was pretty scary. But I realized that all of the teachings are for somebody somewhere. And it's just all of our attempt to understand and connect with that infinite that is beyond our human understanding. But you see, it's ultimately a personal journey. And we must be willing to find our own way, and if it's truly ours. And sometimes that's hard, isn't it? Like, it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of work, and sometimes it's just easier to go along with what we're taught, which may or may not be for us. But even if we do, we have to somehow make it our own, from our own journey. And so these 4 weeks we're exploring the basic principles of science of mind. And after Cheryl looked at the thing itself, Reverend Don last week talked about the way it works. And this is both, you guys, this is both a mystical and a practical teaching. It's mystical in the sense that it is all about the experience of that divine life that is in us, as us. Mysticism is for all of us. It's uncovering that divine spark in us and experiencing it. And it's also a practical, pragmatic teaching, because we live on planet Earth and we need to navigate it. We're here for a reason. And how do we navigate it so that we have more joy, that we have a better life, that life is better for everyone? So, in this week, we're talking about what it does. And what it does simply, Holmes said this, is express as all life, and as humans, it offers us a greater experience of the qualities of the divine, of love, of harmony, of joy, of co-creation, all that we know to be the highest experience of that divine essence. God is love. And a love that we cannot even begin to understand, but out of it comes that peace beyond understanding. And what it is for us is to get into the flow of that. To get into the flow of that. You see, we are already immersed in a universe of knowledge, of the divine, of a quantum field of possibilities. All of this is forever and always available to each one of us. Each one of us. There are no favorites. There are no favorites. It's available to each one of us. And the question is, how much are we going to experience of that possibility and potentiality that is there for us? And when there's a flow, to get into the flow means we have to let go of what we're hanging on to. Ouch. Because it can feel kind of scary. We don't know where it's going. We don't know where this flow, this divine flow is going. And so it requires a level of trust. And what we often do is we hang on to what we know because it feels safe. And I understand that. And when I look at that, I sometimes think of rivers, and I try to get out of that. I try to think of that divine flow of energy that moves in and through all life, and that is it is the life force, the chi, the elan vital. And I often think of, I go to, as you know, I talk about it all the time, to the family farm, and couple times a year. And there's a river that runs through the farm, Fall River. It's a lovely small river and just so delightful and bounce. It's even kinder and less water than that creek that is out there, which I'm sure is a river. But it's a lovely little river. We swim and float in it, and people fish in it. But it runs into the Snake River. And the Snake River, which is just a few miles away, is huge and big, and I can't see the bottom of it. And it's scary to me. And I know that Snake River runs into the Columbia and then runs into the ocean. And I really like our little river. It's not so little, but I can see the bottom. And it feels really safe to me. And this idea of letting go and floating on into the Snake River and down into the Columbia, which would be a foolhardy thing to do if I weren't talking in metaphors once again. It's scary. It can be scary to let go, because when we let go and get into the flow, we are surrendering into something and we don't know where it's going. We don't know where it's going. And so we hold on. We hold on. But in that flow, just think about that peace without, that peace beyond our understanding that just carries us along. If we can let go and get into the flow of that, it takes us to places beyond our imagination. And what might we have to let go of? Because not only are we afraid to let go because you don't know where it's going and what's going to happen, and we prefer the known. It may be uncomfortable, but it's my discomfort. And I know what it is. You know what I mean? I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with my own pain and discomfort. So what might we have to let go of? Resentment that we have nourished. He done me wrong. How many songs do we hear? She done me wrong. It did me wrong. God did me wrong. Look at the problems I've got. The problems on the world. If God is so powerful, why doesn't God solve it? Well, because God is in and of us, and we have that free life. That's my answer. But what am I not letting go of? Do I not want to let go of this job? It's making me miserable, but I don't know what I'm going to do. It takes trust and faith. How about letting go of pretending to be something that we're not because we're afraid that people won't like us? What if in that letting go, we are so filled with Spirit that we know who we are, and it's okay. I can be me. I can maybe not fit into where I think I should fit into, but it's okay. That's scary stuff, isn't it? Because belonging is so important. Belonging is so important. So, it's an interesting thing when we talk about this. We can be airy-fairy about it, but it is an amazing journey we're on. Just an amazing journey we're on. So deep and complex and wondrous. And, 29 years ago, I gave a talk on this subject. And I happened to come across this talk. I don't have many of the talks I've given over the years. I wouldn't have room. But I happened to have a few from the first year I was in ministry. And in January 1995, I gave this talk. And so I pulled it out and I was looking at it and I thought, why do I work? I could just give this one today. It's the same principles. It's the same information. The principles don't change. 4 plus 4, is still equal, 4 plus 4 is still equal 8, right? Now, I might have got 7 sometimes and 9 sometimes, and I might have made mistakes, but that doesn't change the principles. The principles are still the same. And as time went on, see, the talk didn't change, the principle didn't change, but you know what changed? I changed. As I looked at that those many years ago, I am a different person today. And how did that happen? It just unfolds. Now, just because I got the wrong answers sometimes to the principles of our mouth metaphor didn't make me wrong. It made that I got the wrong answer. I had something to learn, something to know. This is Earth School. And we don't get from basic math to calculus without making some mistakes, do we? We're going to make some mistakes along the way. I'm using that because I actually never did get to calculus, but no, I really didn't. It wasn't my fault. They didn't offer it in my girls' school I went to, but they did teach us how to get in and out of sports cars. I'm not kidding you about that. So the infinite, the thing itself, God does not change. But I change, and you change. And the young minister that I was so enthusiastic and so full of energy. And boy, did I know a lot of things. I had all this information, and that was good because it pointed me in a direction. But as I looked at that, and I looked at this person today, it's like, what had happened is I know more who I am today. I know more who you are today. And I know about prayer. And I know that prayer works. I had to work my way through begging and pleading, even though I knew how to do treatment. I still had this God that I had to ask and make happy. My husband and I were talking about the Virgin Mary the other day because I was really a cute little joke. And and we thought, well, it's all set up really like a family, isn't it? Father, Mother, Jesus. And if you're ever Catholic, and I know a lot of you were here and will understand this, there's called a prayer of intercession, where Mary intercedes. I can't remember it now. I used to have it memorized. Asking the Virgin Mary to essentially go to her son Jesus to beg a favor for you. I love it. I mean, it is beautiful and it's fine. And if it works for you, that's so great. But what if Jesus is not happy with you? You know, there was all this worry. So even though I knew something different, it was still there. You know, like, okay, I'm not perfect. So I have to be perfect before I'm acceptable. I don't know if any of you were there, ever. But I know now, this is the best thing about the journey. It's taken many, many years, but you guys, this is the best thing about the journey of knowing the power of prayer, that prayer works. Prayer, the way we do prayer, is not beseeching. But it is knowing that there is this wondrous, that there is this divine presence, and it is everywhere present. It is infinite intelligence. It has created the universe, and you and I are part of that. We have to be part of that, because if we were separate out from it, there would be no force to keep us alive. And that as we are part of that one mind, as we speak our word, whether it is full of knowledge or not, that word returns to us fulfilled. You know, the power of our word. I think most teachings understand the power of our word. It's done unto us as we believe. And that journey of coming to know and understand that the power of my word works. And so you know, this idea of getting in the flow and being an expression and partaking of that. When I was in junior high, we didn't have a TV in our little house in Arizona. And they had just gotten TV down there. And all of us girls were at the age where girls started hanging out and talking all the time. And they would come to school and they would just see these programs and they were talking about it and they were so cool. And I didn't know a thing about what they were talking about because we didn't have a TV. And so the idea is all of that is there. We weren't plugged into this system. And it's like having... just think, I mean, it still is a miracle to me that these waves that we can't even see, that if we have this instrument, we can tune into it. Well, our mind is the instrument that we have that tunes into spirit, that connects us to that divine source. And then we can partake of these programs, and we can partake of this information, and we can make them ours and joyous. But I wasn't connected to that, so I was really missing out. And I still, sorry guys, I get a little enthused about this subject, as you can tell. The more we get into this, the more we begin to see the inspiration, how it works, and it's always working. It works even though we don't know anything about it, because it's the way it works. Electricity works if we have never even experienced it. It works, and it always worked before it was discovered, did it not? Always works. It is waiting for our discovery. And I know how prayer works. And one of the things in my life, I always was focused on an idea and where I wanted to go, and then I would just proceed to do it. And I never thought most of my life about that. It's just idea, action, and then everything unfolded. The path became clear. And it wasn't until I got into this teaching that I began to pay attention. And last week, Paul and I decided we had to get a survey done. This is an awareness story. We had to get a survey done because the neighbors on some property we owned and bought and sold it. And I wanted to make sure that we knew exactly where the line was. So it's been surveyed, but nobody managed to mark the spot. So we're getting this survey. And it's the right thing to do. And we wanted to get it done before they moved in and all this stuff. And so we just proceeded ahead. And I know survey's going to cost money. But I didn't think too much about it. And 2 days later, we became aware of the exact amount and more that it was always there. We just hadn't got it. It was hidden somewhere in the universe. And I got a check a couple of days after we went to the surveyor's office for that amount and more. That I didn't know about that check when we went to the surveyor. And the interesting thing is this happens all the time. And it happened before I was aware of it. And as I became aware of how this happens, my faith and trust begin to grow. And take some time and go through your life, maybe this afternoon, take a little quiet time, and look at all those places in your life where something just came about that you weren't expecting that answered what would be an unhidden prayer. The glass becomes clearer. You see all these aspects when we pay attention to them. We're told, I see dimly now, but in time I shall see clearly. The letting go of stuff, the coming to faith about things, as we get deeper in faith, as I pay attention. I hadn't thought about that till I was doing this talk about how that just flows, and then going back over my life, how those kind of incidences have constantly showed up in my life. And it builds faith. If we pay attention to every little thing that happens, it builds faith so that we begin to see that through that glass more clearly. When we talk about letting go, and I just want to end with this, that idea when we were kids. We used to make mud pies. Did any of you guys ever do that? Make mud pies? I mean, it was like you had a pretend restaurant with mud pies. I don't even know if parents would let kids do that anymore. But we used to make mud pies. And then we'd put in a glass, and I always found it fascinating because, I guess we were making chocolate milk with the mud in the glass. But then, I know it sounds disgusting, doesn't it? But then as we pour water into that, what happens? The more water that's poured in, the more it stirs up what is on the bottom. When we begin this practice, don't be surprised that what you need to release and let go of will be stirred up. You found that to be true, right? And what we sometimes judge is, we're doing it wrong. The more we allow that flow of the divine to take over our life, to come into our life, the clearer the glass gets. But as it does that, it stirs up. And little by little, that flows out, and pretty soon you have more clear water than you have in the bottom. So know that as we deepen our practice, there will be things that are stirred up that we need to let go of. And I know that sometimes it's hard to let go of certain things, especially that well-developed resentment. I've got them. I mean, I've got one from 1968. I mean, it's grown over the years, it's flowered, and I've really become right about that. So, and the question is, do I want to let go of it? So it's like, I want to deepen spiritually. I want to experience the peace that passes understanding. I want all this, but I spent a lot of time on that one. Do I really want to let it go? And it's okay, you guys. It'll come around again. It'll get stirred up again. So this is wonderful stuff. Oh my God, you guys, this is so good. This is so good. So what we do, I would ask you today, what is it you and I are willing to release? Just one more log out of the dam. How much of our time are we willing to invest in our spiritual practices of prayer, meditation, study, service? It's okay, whatever our decision is, but it's a choice. We always have a choice. It's a choice. So let's just take a moment and go within here. That presence that we call God, Spirit, because it is us, as us, within us, everywhere present. We can take our mind away from all that's external for a while and really go within and begin to experience that divine love and peace that is at the heart of our being. The mystical spirit is not just for some, but for all. When we are willing to take that journey inward. So I just want you to take a moment without me speaking and focus inward as we say, let God be God in me. And show me that experience of that divine love personally, that powerful experience. Just breathe into the inner heart, that inner sanctuary within you. And I know that there is good for each one of us. There is good, there is God. God is our good. Now, what am I willing to release today, this week, this year? So that I might experience a greater flow of that divine presence in my life. What is it that I can let go of? For there is nothing to get. Everything is already here. Everything is already present. There is nothing to get. There is no one to become. There is only something to let go of. And I am so grateful for this understanding. And I just release this to the infinite. Namaste.
Minister David Alexander used to say, what if there was only one mind? And I didn't talk to Julie before I picked what song I was going to play today, but this is a song about letting go. Bring it on, everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do, and all I know is gonna be everything new. I'm through with crying, I'm through with waiting, I'm through with hoping against all hope. I'm through with longing for something gone that'll never return. I finally learned, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do, and all I know is gonna be everything new. I'm through with grieving, I'm through with dreaming that the life I had is ever coming back. No more wishing on someone else's star that'll never be mine. I think it's time, so bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. All I know, it's gonna be everything new. And I survived many times before, broken heart and slamming doors. I'll be alright, like I did before, like I did back then. I'm gonna rise again. Let's sing it. Bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do. All I know, it's gonna be everything new. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for the next thing to do, and all I know, it's gonna be everything new. And all I know, it's everything new. Thank you. God is good.
Thank you, Blaine. Yeah. So, everything new. Are you ready? Yeah. Ready. I don't know. I guess you guys planned it. So, this is the place in our service, this holy place, where we get to share and experience our good, our God, our community. And there's an affirmation for us to share together. Really look at these words, you guys. Divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, the power of blessing.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so
The blessings of life flow abundantly and freely through our consciousness of the One, the Infinite, through the joy that we experience in meeting one another and doing so much in this life. We express it all with goodness and a freedom to let go of anything that opposes or appears to oppose this joy and this wonder, this infinite goodness in which we live. And as we let go of that, all goodness pours into our hearts and minds, and we are grateful for all who are here, for every gift given. And with this in mind, let us join together in saying, and so it is. If you'd like to stand now, we could do our prayer of protection. The words are in the program. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's join in singing the peace song. Join hands.
I take that this be got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. I got up this morning singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. Feeling good down in my soul. God is so good. My God is so good to me. When my day is over singing, God is so good. When my day is over singing, God is so good. When my day is over singing, God is so good. My God is so good to me. Well, every day